Hello, and welcome to the deep dive. Right off the bat, before we even crack open the source material today, I want to send a really specific message to our listeners tuning in from Iran.
Yeah, this deep dive is completely dedicated to you all.
Exactly. We are exploring your home today, the heart of Eurasia, and we genuinely want to hear from you, so please do not hesitate to comment below with your feedback and thoughts on this.
It's it's really a pleasure to be looking at a region with such deep historical roots. I mean,
Hmm.
just looking at the map, the sheer scale of it is deceptive.
Oh, it is massive. We are talking 1.65 million square kilometers.
It's just basically the size of Alaska.
Or what, like 5 Germanys put together?
Right. But the sources highlight that it isn't just about the size,
Hmm.
it is the sheer variety. They call it the land of four seasons.
And not because the weather changes over the year, but because is all happening at once.
Yeah, you could actually be skiing up in the Alborz Mountains in the north,
Right.
catch a quick domestic flight, and be trekking through a scorching desert in the south on the exact same afternoon.
Speaking of scorching, that desert, the Lut Desert, the notes here mention surface temperatures hitting 70 degrees Celsius.
Which creates a landscape that looks almost alien. You have these wind-carved yardangs or kalutes that look like skyscrapers made of sand.
Just incredible. But despite that harsh environment in the south, the country is an absolute economic heavyweight. We are seeing nearly 2 trillion in GDP.
Powered largely by the world's third largest natural gas reserves.
And a population of 93 million.
Right.
What really stood out to me in the demographic breakdown is that Iranian doesn't just mean Persian.
No, not at all. It is this beautiful mosaic of Azeris, Kurds, Lurs.
And the language, Farsi. I think a lot of people see the Arabic script and just assume.
As it's related to Arabic. Yeah, that is a super common misconception. Farsi is actually Indo-European.
Which means grammatically it has more cousins in Europe than in the Middle East. But get this, here is the detail that really shifts your perspective.
The calendar.
The calendar. If you land in Tehran right now, it is not the year 2025 or 2026. It is the year 1404.
Right, the Solar Hijri Calendar. Which is actually more mathematically precise than the Western Gregorian calendar.
Because it is tied directly to the astronomical spring equinox.
Exactly, which is why Nowruz, their new year, always lands right on the first day of spring, connects time directly to nature.
So cool. Now, speaking of deep time, you really cannot talk about Iran without Susa,
Oh, wow, yeah, continuous human habitation since 4200 BC.
making it one of the oldest continuous settlements on the planet. But the sources pivot pretty hard from that ancient history to modern social complexity. We have to talk about Taraf.
The art of ritual politeness. It is the absolute social lubricant of Iran.
But it seems incredibly tricky for outsiders to navigate. The example in the article mentions a shopkeeper refusing your money.
Which does not mean the item is free.
Right. He's basically saying, I am humble and you are a guest. So what is the actual protocol here? How do you buy the thing?
You just have to play the game. You're expected to refuse the offer, then he insists, then you insist on paying, and eventually, money changes hands.
A total dance of respect.
If you just take the free item and walk away, you have essentially committed social theft.
Good to know. And speaking of social signaling, do you see the stats on rhinoplasty? Tehran is the nose job capital of the world.
It is, but the fascinating part from the sources is that people wear the post-op bandages long after they need to.
As a status symbol.
Exactly. It shows you have the wealth and time for self-care. It sits right alongside these ancient superstitions.
Like burning a spend.
The wild rue seeds, yes, to ward off the evil eye.
So you have this mix of high-tech cosmetic surgery signaling right alongside ancient spiritual protection.
That contrast is everywhere. You see it in their national achievements, too. We tend to think of ancient ruins, but Iran is ranking top tier globally in nanotechnology.
Stem cell research, robotics Olympiads.
It is a massive modern scientific hub,
Yeah.
and that extends to sports, particularly their dominance in wrestling.
And we absolutely cannot forget Ali Daei.
Holding the world record for international goals for years with 109 strikes.
Unbelievable. Now, we cannot do this deep dive without a taste test. The food descriptions were killing me. Ghormeh Sabzi.
The national dish. It is this rich herb stew loaded with parsley, cilantro, fenugreek.
The notes describe it as having this deep, savory, umami punch.
It really does. And you also have kebab kubide.
Minced meat skewers. And Fesenjan.
Ah, the walnut and pomegranate stew. That sweet and sour balance is a real signature of the cuisine.
Sounds amazing. Okay, so if someone is actually booking a ticket, the sources are unanimous on this sort of holy trinity of stops. You have Persepolis, obviously.
The ceremonial capital. the gate of all nations.
It is a great reminder that the Achaemenid Empire was built on a really unique level of tolerance. Then there is Isfahan.
Known as half the world.
The photos of Nakhchivan Square with the Grand Bazaar and Shah Mosque are just stunning.
But for me, the true engineering marvel is Yazd. It is a desert city, but they cooled it for centuries using wind catchers.
Like ancient, eco-friendly air conditioning.
Exactly. Towers that catch the breeze and funnel it down into the buildings. Plus, it houses the Zoroastrian fire temple.
Where the flame inside has apparently been burning for 1,500 years.
It really captures the essence of the country perfectly. Susa and Yazd show these incredible ancient roots, but then you have the science and the nose job showing a fierce modern ambition.
Right, living in the year 1404, burning ancient seeds for luck, while leading in nanotechnology and navigating complex social etiquette like Teraf.
It is a place where the ancient and the hypermodern don't just exist side by side, they're completely intertwined.
A depth of culture that is hard to wrap your head around, but totally fascinating to explore, which leaves you with something to think about.
Oh,
How does a single nation manage to encompass 4 distinct seasons, exist in the year 1404, and maintain the oldest cities on Earth all at the exact same time?
that is a great final thought to ponder.
It really is. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. And again, to our Iranian listeners, we hope we did justice to the tour of your home. Catch you next time.